Hey WealthLab 8 users, Glitch here. We have build 73 out now, so let's find out what's new in WealthLab 8 build 73. First of all, we have a couple of enhancements to the strategy monitor, which is a tool that uses a genetic algorithm to evolve generations of trading strategies. So let's go to preferences and click Evolver. So we have a new section up here, slots 1 through 5. So when you open an Evolver window, you're presented with 20 slots of strategies that are priming the genetic algorithm. The first 5 of those slots 1 through 5, are template strategies that are prototypical trading algorithms like RSI overbought, buying on 3 down days in a row, things like that. They're all listed here. Well, now you can selectively disable them. So for example, in this Evolver window, if I click slot 1, I have my buy at market when RSI is oversold and sell when it's overbought. That is this RSI overbought template. If I disable that template and open an Evolver window again and click that, I get a completely random strategy that the Evolver just happened to generate. So that gives you more control over the genetic Evolver. Also in Evolver preferences, we have a couple of new tabs here, long conditions and short conditions. So what this does is it lets you drop condition blocks into the Evolver. Let's say, for example, you're trading intraday and you don't want to start a trade before 10 a.m., for example. So let's drag a block in here, indicator compare to value. And we will say time of day has to be greater than, and this indicator uses a 4-digit clock for the time, so we're going to say 1000. That will represent 10 a.m. So now that we have that block in our long conditions here, if I open up a new Evolver window, it will be applied to any randomly generated strategy. So the template strategies won't contain that, but if I go to a randomly generated strategy like this one, 11, we could see here that this condition, time of day close is greater than 10 o'clock, has been inserted into the long entry. So we have a separate section for long and short entries where you can insert your own conditions to further control the genetic Evolver processing. So next, let's go to our strategy monitor, which is the tool that lets you run strategies automatically on various scales. So we'll click the button here, Strategy Monitor, and let's drag a strategy into the monitor. So when you drop a strategy in there, you're presented with the configuration dialog that lets you set up which data set and or symbol you want to run this on, the amount of data to load, the scale, all these various options. The new option here is this checkbox. Wait for all updates before processing. So the strategy monitor, especially in intraday, it works by running in several potential batches. So imagine you're running it on a data set of 100 symbols. Maybe within the first couple of seconds of the new interval, 20 symbols are updated. The strategy monitor will run a backtest on those 20 symbols to get the timely results. Then when the rest of the data gets updated, maybe a few seconds later, it will run on that batch. So it can run several batches in each run. Well, that's all good. That keeps things running quickly, but sometimes you don't want to do that. Sometimes your strategy relies on having all of the data updated and running at one time. If that's the case, you can check this box here, which effectively disables that batching, and it makes the strategy run only when all of the data is updated. So know that, as the tooltip here says, you may run into a lag. Your strategy may not update in a timely manner, especially if you have illiquid symbols in that data set, because it's going to wait until all of those symbols are updated, and after 50 seconds it will just go ahead and run with whatever symbols are updated. So with that new feature in place, we can now do something that has been requested for a long time, but you've not been able to do, which is drag a rotation strategy into the strategy monitor. And when you do that, notice that this checkbox is enabled by default and you cannot uncheck it. So if I click OK here, I now have a rotation strategy running in my strategy monitor. And there we go, it generated signals and everything. So new for build 73. One last thing, we added ability to place your orders from strategies as good till cancel. That's in preference, trading preferences. Use GTC for all strategy orders. Now, you may not normally consider doing this, especially if you're running a pure WealthLab strategy, but one of our users, good old Hal Stein, who we met actually shortly after launching WealthLab, he was gracious enough to host us, I think it was in Seattle, at his place for him and his wife, gave us a delicious Vietnamese meal, I remember. But his process was kind of a hybrid manual approach where he really needed those orders submitted with GTC. So Hal, you can go ahead and check this box now if you want your orders still submitted as GTC. But that's it for Build 73, everyone. Thanks for watching, and see you all on the forums.